Django. Django.
Enter the Lab, episode 17, Elvis, Escobar, Fort Sama. We got a guest coming up on this episode. While you're listening to this, I'm sure you guys already know the results of the NCAA championship game with Kansas UNC, but we'll kind of cover it a little bit. We'll kind of put out our predictions and why we thought somebody won the game already. And then we'll go into some baseball with our guests, some betting. And this person has a lot of experience in the world of betting and also being a personality on podcasts. What's going on, Fort?
Yo, man. Just finished the gym. Good week. Not so much in betting, but we'll get it back up.
Yeah, maybe with our guests could school you a couple tips. This is why we have to broaden our horizons a little bit.
Hey, the more information, especially when it comes to money and betting and stuff like that, you can't go wrong. But I'm excited for this national championship game. I mean, it's probably going to be one of the better games that we've had. Just two pretty good high-paced teams, a lot of offense. So I'm excited. I'm glad that, UNC got in there, and that was kind of a Cinderella story itself, but I'm excited for this game and just, two good teams fighting at it to get the championship.
Yeah. We're recording this at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That game's at 9:20 in New Orleans. But without further ado, let's enter with our guest, Steve Armato of LARK Media. He wanted us to say that he's a sports betting personality. Obviously, we'll get to know kind of what he's been up to in the last several years. I personally went to high school with him in Staten Island, New York, and it's great to reconnect on this level, 10, 11 years later. So we want to welcome Steve Armato into the lab. What's going on, brother?
Wow. Hey. I have entered the lab. I like that. This is first of all, the name of the show is great. And then when you bring the guest on like that, that's just phenomenal all around. How we doing, boys?
What's up, man? Yeah, can't complain. The name thing was actually we went back and forth with it for a while, just trying to get the right name and how we
knew the vibe. We just didn't know which word was going to be before or after, because there's a lot of labs that people use as a adjective or something, but enter the lab goes back to the Wu-Tang, enter the dragon, little Bruce Lee. So it kind of connected both of us together.
It's great. And tonight, we're going to enter the lab and we're going to cook up some winning bets. That's
yes, sir.
That's how it's going to work. So this is perfect all around. So I'm excited. Thank you for having me on. This has actually been a long time coming. We've been talking for a while about getting together and doing this. So I'm excited, ready to go.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Yeah. On.
So
let's jump right into it with UNC Kansas. Like I said, people are going to be listening to this and watching this podcast with their results already. Hopefully we could give you something to give a little preview, but also a little take on what we think will be the result. So right off the bat, I'm taking UNC, obviously UNC fan since high school. And then you guys can hit me with your take, your bets, and also why you think that team will win, as our viewers are listening. So I'll start off with you, Steve, as our guest. Go ahead.
Oh, man. All right. There's a lot of different ways I feel about this game. I've changed my pick 6 times, by the way, for the record. Okay. Because originally I was UNC, they just played Duke, emotional high. The game was back and forth, tight game the whole time while Kansas coasted. Kansas is going to pound them. And then I was wait a minute, timeout. Kansas just shot 53% from the field and 54% from 3. There's no way they're going to play better than that. So let's slow it down a little bit. But all right, I'm rambling a little bit here, but I'm just going to say this. Okay. Armando Bacot he's the linchpin to this entire game. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So his ankle is going to be the story tonight. Okay. With him on the floor this year, UNC is plus 330. Without him on the floor, they are minus 80. So if he's hobbled at all or he's in foul trouble, McCormick's going to eat. And that's going to be an issue. So that's my take on that. Now, I think this is going to be one of the better games of the tournament. I do think UNC is going to hang around. Ultimately, I think Kansas will win the game. So my bet for the night, I'm going to take David McCormick to have a double-double and Kansas to win plus 450. Boom. There you go.
Love it.
That's good value right there. That's good value.
You're going to find out early. Like, so if you're watching, right? So say you want to wait till this game starts. If you're watching and Baycott looks great early and he's, his ankle's fine, then like maybe you just want to throw down on Carolina, like plus the points there. Cause like he's the story tonight. That's how I feel about this game.
Yeah. When I saw the stats at the end of the game, I saw he had 21 rebounds and I was like, when? Like,
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of boards in any league. It doesn't matter where you play. And like, he definitely is a big factor. He was all over the place. And I mean, I thought he was out the game when I saw him twist the ankle. Like, it didn't look all that bad, but I mean, it's an ankle. Any ankle tweak, especially when you're that size, when you're that big, it's going to bother you. When he came back in the game, I was like, damn, all right, that dude's a warrior.
Yeah.
Like, he wants to win. So I like Kansas just because they're that run and gun team, man. They got a lot of athletes on the floor. If UNC tries to play at their pace, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep up. And Kansas has that big man, McCormick, down there. They always seem to have this big man that just dominates the paint, and it just pisses me off. But
that big man's also in college for 8 years, by the way.
Yeah.
Always.
I know, always. I do think UNC hangs around, though. I was surprised at how well they played Duke. And that was, I mean, Caleb Love, bro, just straight up hooper. Like, that dude was getting to the rim. He was hitting step back shots. I was like, what the heck? This kid's just straight up balling. He put UNC on his back that game. So, what was the spread? I think it was 4.5 minus
4. Now it's
4.5. Okay, yeah, I like that. I mean, I think it's going to be a close game, and there might even be overtime. Hopefully, we're blessed with overtime because those two teams, they're well coached. I'm just excited. It's going to be a close game for sure. But that plus 450 on Kansas win and double for McCormick, that's great value.
Hell yeah! I mean, that's just like that's value. You know what else I like, guys? We should talk about this. So I like, one of my friends turned me on to this. All right. So if you think a team is going to win, but like the odds, like say you like Kansas on the money line, but not the points, it's like minus 192. There's like, you have to buy that up a lot. Why don't you just bet like Abaji to win MOP? He's plus 135. If you really think Kansas is going to win and he's going to be the best player, or if you think McCormick's going to eat down low, he's plus 1100. Right. So like if he has like 25 and 12, back-to-back 25 and 12s, because that's what he did against Villanova. Like, you bet him MOP, and if you think Kansas is going to win the game, because the losing player, the losing team's not going to have the MOP unless like it goes off for like 50. Yeah. Like unless Caleb Love has 50 tonight, and like Kansas wins. Which if Caleb Love has 50, Kansas is going to get the
yeah.
But if you like UNC, right? Caleb Love's plus 500 MOP. That's a lot better than plus 158, plus 160, right? So,
oh yeah.
I mean, if you're looking for sprinkles, I don't know. I look at these things. I'm a psycho.
No, we love it because we'll get into more of the betting aspect, maybe of college or any sport we want to talk about next. But as far as this championship game, I think we had they called it the 4 blue bloods in the Final Four, and then obviously we get a great game with UNC Duke. That was, built up and it delivered. I think. Yeah, I don't know if you guys thought it delivered.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, definitely delivered. Coach K was walking out sad with his wife.
He always kisses her like before and after the game. It's always good to see the like a little teardrop. Yeah, my whole thing. I had like an issue with like it's like a 2-point game with like a minute 30 left, and they're cutting a Coach K's wife like entering. Yeah. I'm like, why? No, we don't care. Like, we don't care. Get her off the screen, please. Thank you.
Yeah, there's time and place with a story, but like not then. Like when you're trying to watch it as a diehard fan or just a casual fan, like who's this broad? Yeah, usually you're just like, who is that? You don't know who that is.
I'm like, was it just me, or was there so many like official TV timeouts this year?
Oh my God. The worst thing, this is the worst thing in sports. College basketball has this This is the worst thing about college basketball. The team timeout at like the 13-minute mark, and then the under 12 timeout like immediately right after.
Yeah.
It's the worst. It just so happened that happened every single time there was a media timeout coming up. A team took a timeout like a minute before that. It was terrible to watch.
I'm just like, bro, come on, man. Like it's overwhelming. It's too much.
Right.
And then
like,
they can call a timeout right after they get a bucket. Like, no, dude. Like,
it shouldn't
Yeah,
be.
that's always bothered me in college basketball. The timeout right after a bucket on either side it kind of takes away from the momentum. Like, and usually it's after a big play, so you want the next team to dribble up and get a counter, bigger player or counter with that, and it kind of throws off the flow of the game as a viewer. And I don't watch college basketball. I probably watch per season. I probably watch 10 to 12 intently, but now, you know, it's a different vibe. And then you get the calls down in the paint. You get a lot more. I don't know if it's me as a fair weather watcher, but anytime somebody drives in the paint and any type of contact, it's a foul.
It's too touchy feely in college. Like, because actually, if you watched Kansas and Villanova, they were letting a lot of calls go. But if you watch Duke and UNC, they were calling everything. So I don't know how you guys feel about this. Like, I'm not even an NBA fan. Like, I don't really watch the NBA that much, but I think that college needs to add a sixth foul, because like
I was just talking about that on the golf course on Sunday.
Because you have some of these guys. Like what's his name? Like Baycott, right? Like tonight,
Yeah.
if he gets 2 fouls in the first 5 minutes, now he's out for the half. Like nobody wants to see that. Like, because then like nobody wants to see that. I don't understand why we can't just add a foul. That I don't.
Nick Vitale always talked about how if they're going to keep it at 5, make foul 6 and 7 technical or some way where you keep the good players, because usually it's a very good player that's getting 5 fouls in the game more. Dick Vitale, that's always stuck out to me, and that's a very good point, Steve.
Man, I just want to see the good guys play. That's it.
Of course,
that's all we all want to see. Yeah,
Coach K. Go ahead, Danny.
No, I was about to say. Oh, you get. I was about to say, especially in college, like these are kids, you know. Like obviously they're gonna make mistakes and foul and whatnot. So like, yeah, give them a 6th foul. Like 5 fouls, I'm not a fan of. I think that's what happened with Duke. Their big man got like 4 fouls within 10 minutes in the first half, and I'm just like, well, this is smoked.
And then his backup had 4 in the first half.
Yep,
his backup. So they had nobody to play. Like they were like playing small. I don't even know. I mean, they couldn't shoot free throws either. I like watching Duke lose, so it's fine. I saw like a good TikTok. I was talking about like what are Duke fans gonna do, and it like cut to like a bunch of dudes in like Yankee jerseys, like, don't worry about it. It's baseball season, bro. Like,
yeah, I think that's one of the reasons I became a UNC fan back in the day. I think it was the era of Jay Williams, and I just sometimes I grow to be a fan of another of a team because I hate the other team or their rival. I think I did the same thing with Michigan and Ohio State. I became a Michigan fan because I think I looked at Ohio State at the time and I was just like, I for some reason don't like them, so I'm going to root for their rivals. So that's kind of where my college sport fandom has come from hating the other team more.
That's fair.
That's funny.
I like that. I like that too. I do like that. I don't know. I just liked UNC over Duke because I like the jerseys better. So that doesn't even make. I mean, I like the color. The powder blue is insane. Like,
powder blue is fresh.
Yeah, it is.
I was obsessed with that growing up because of Michael Jordan, and knowing that he went to North Carolina, that's kind of the other reason. But for the record, non-betting wise, Steve, you have who to win the game?
Kansas to win the game.
You have
Kansas too.
All right, so I have UNC, so 2-1. We'll post our results. Obviously, when you're listening and watching to this podcast, you already know the results. We don't. We're 2 hours before tip-off, so hopefully,
By the way, can we get an earlier start time here?
9:20 in New Orleans?
Yeah,
on a Monday. On a
Monday, right? Like, what the fuck?
What are you
doing? Battling from the weekend too.
And there's no NBA games on either. Like, it's like, all right, so like you made sure there was no NBA games on.
Did they?
But you make this game at 9:30.
Oh shit! There's no games.
There's no games today.
Wow.
That's insane. See, I wouldn't know that, but you see, that's why. That's what you know that. But still, it's insane.
You got multiple things.
Yeah, I was just like, all right, well, okay, so the game should probably be around like 6 or 7:30 or whatnot.
I would think
9:29.
8:20 would be it, not
Yeah,
9. Like
8:20, like 8:20 would be the latest I would go. Like 7:30, I feel like is ideal. I mean, especially national title game. There's gonna be if it's close, like if a team's down, if one of them's down like 6 in the last like 4 minutes, like there's gonna be a lot of
timeouts,
fouls,
a lot of fouls,
a lot of timeouts. Things gonna drag on.
commercials.
But no, commercials, timeout, media timeout. This is, I
Jesus.
mean. Yeah, I could see it now. This game starts 9:20. It's gonna be a 1 a.m.
Yeah,
1
midnight
a.m. closing.
plus. Yeah.
Unless we have a game
Yeah.
like last year. Like last year, Baylor just blew Gonzaga's doors off, and we didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, let's not hope. Let's hope that.
No,
it's
I
not
want a good
blowout
game.
earlier.
I want a good game tonight. I want a good
Rather
game.
have to
I'm
suffer
not,
through
Yeah.
the pain of keeping the eyelids open.
It's all right. Just set the alarm a little later for tomorrow.
Absolutely. So that's your NCAA championship game fix. Steve specializes, and he could tell us a little bit more, but from what I've got gathered from his social media over the last couple of years has been baseball. He's been on so many different podcasts, I can't even keep up with it. Obviously, he has his LARK Media, which I've seen you do some work with Gleyber Torres as a Yankee fan. I paid a lot of attention. So if you want to talk about that real quick, but we'll talk a little baseball, a little future betting. But as far as what you specialize in or what you've been a personality of, what has that what have you been into?
Yeah. So I mean, my company is like, I call it basically a digital media company. Like we produce and edit podcast, video production, do like kind of like social media commercials and things like that. That's like our bread and butter type of thing. And then like kind of that grew with the podcast. Like COVID happened, right? So I used to do like mainly video, and then COVID happened, and nobody's shooting video. So you gotta move stuff. You gotta move around. You gotta figure it out.
Yep.
You gotta figure it out, or you gotta go work for somebody. And like I just wasn't looking to go work for somebody, so I pivoted to podcasts. And with that came a couple different clients, and one of them gave me the opportunity to be on a podcast. I was on a podcast last year called Daily Dingers. That's where the baseball stuff all came from. And then that just led to other things. And I talk a lot of baseball, and that's why I'm very excited for baseball season and baseball betting. Baseball is my favorite sport to bet because you're talking to a guy right now. You can't bet favorites in baseball. You can at times, but look, I mean, there are really bad teams, but every team wins 60. Every team loses 60. So there are underdogs that are going to win games on any given night with like juicy plus money. And you got to know those spots to pounce. I like first 5 innings as well. That's always good when you have teams with really terrible bullpens and like a good starting pitcher. And we'll talk futures bets, what I look for. I could talk about what I look for. I just look for the best value with the futures bets. We can talk about that. And then, I do like myself a home run prop or two. Also, if you guys are interested, if you guys want a betting tip for baseball, there's a website called, and I'm not getting paid for this because this is free. This is just
unpaid promotion.
Yeah, this is an unpaid promotion. There is a website called Baseball Savant. Okay. Look into it. Look into the stats. They have batter versus pitcher stats for games. You can see how guys are doing against certain, like how batters do against certain pitchers, XYZ. They have analytical stats on there. It's very helpful. You got to look, like some people are just like, oh, like you can't win money. But it's like, you just have to actually do the research, take it seriously. If you don't do the research, take it seriously, you put in like, plus 20,000 parlays every night, then yeah, you're probably not going to make any money. So it's my philosophy there.
And that's the other thing.
I hope that works. I hope that works for you.
Right. I've been seeing you doing a lot of parlays and stuff like that. That's what we posted or what we've reposted of yours. Yes. How's that going so far?
So yeah, I do a podcast called Parlay Friday. I do it with my cousin, and then we try to bring a guest on every now and then when we can. We record early in the morning though, so like it's tough for people. Like I'm like, hey, can you get on at 9:30 a.m.? And they're like, no, I'm not going to wake up. So it's
just take tough. A liquid or a pill upper and you're good to go.
Right. That's what I say. But like that. So actually, I just hit one this weekend. I just hit plus 470, nice. Plus 478. Nice little parlay. I had UConn women to beat Stanford. I had Kansas money line against Nova, and I had UNC plus 4 against Duke. Very nice hit. Like, wow, it's just
very nice.
I like So I noticed parlays are better when you have less legs because like once you get into like the 5, like 4 is probably the max I'll go from now on.
Yeah.
Like once you start getting into like 5, 6, like someone sent me like a 9-leg parlay the other day. Like, what do you think about this? I'm like, I think you're an idiot.
I've been
What do you
seeing
mean? Like,
crazy ones lately. I've been seeing like 12, 15 picks. I'm like, these people are really bored.
yeah, and they're like, oh, I missed by 3. I'm like,
Wow.
you missed. Like, if you just bet, like if you did a 14-leg parlay and just bet every single game singularly, you would have made a lot of money on that.
A lot more, yeah.
But like you also have to buy up on that, right? Because like instead of putting $20 to win like 300, right? You got to put $20 on every single game in that scenario. So like some people don't feel comfortable doing it, but it's what if you bet bigger, you have to be right less. Like if you're betting like $10 for you to make money, you got to be right a lot more. And let's be serious. If you're good at sports betting, you're like 54 to 56% if you're good. Right. So
for sure.
So if you bet a little bit more and you bet some less games, like when I do the parlays, like I'll do like the other night was actually a big parlay bet for me. I did it. It was like $30, right? It's 30. I won like 170. That's like a big parlay bet for me. I'm not going to bet that all the time on a parlay because parlays aren't going to hit a lot of the time.
Right.
But if I'm betting a single game, like you go up, like whatever your units are, I mean, do what you can afford. But if you bet higher amounts, you have to be right less. So just take that into account as we go here.
Yeah.
I mean,
hey, we're all learning. I'm learning.
I feel like I'm talking a lot here, guys.
Oh, you good. You good.
I feel like that on every episode. So I'm glad somebody else is on the episode that feels that way because there's some times where I'm like,
I'm just intently listening.
Yeah,
But
he's taking notes. I saw the note. I saw Fort had a notepad.
Yeah, typing up. Yeah, I've got my phone down here. What's it called? Before we start talking about all this baseball stuff, can you explain to me the CBA and the lockout like I'm a toddler?
Okay. Really rich people didn't want to pay money to semi-rich people. And they fought over it. and now here we are. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the way it went. That's like you're a toddler. That's it. The easiest way to explain it.
That's so nuts to me. Like just
it's crazy. It's crazy. like think about this. Let's say you really like okay, here I'll break it down like this. Let's think about like if you were dating somebody, right? And you broke up with them and you said, I really want to work this out, but you didn't talk to them for 42 days. Would you think that you really wanted to work something out?
absolutely
That's pretty
not.
much what the owners did. The owners like, we want to work something out, but we're not going to negotiate. We're not going to negotiate for 42 days. So you don't want to work anything out. You want chaos is what you want. So that's how this worked. That's how the CBA went right there.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because the name of the, what they were discussing was first priority money with the lockout is always the issue. You know, when people say, oh, it's not about the money. I hate when people say it's always about the money. It's a business and then it's a sport. Yeah. It's a business that happens to be a sport, basically, but also is growing the game in regards of baseball, like football. If they have a lockout, basketball, if they have a disagreement, they got the game itself is figured out. They know the game. It's worked. Little tweaks here with the NFL and overtime they've made changes. But with baseball, me and my friend AP, who was on the podcast a couple episodes ago, we're always talking about evolving the game. You know, people like me, people like you two enjoy baseball, but there's a lot of people out there that hate it, that don't want to go to a game, that won't watch a game for more than 10 minutes because it's quote unquote boring. It's slow. I love every aspect of it at its surest form, but growing the game it has to be priority number one, because without growing the game and evolving the game, there is no money. So I thought the owners and the players had it backwards. They were talking money first, but it's like how to speed up the game, how to make it more cool, more fun, how to promote the foreign players, how to promote the domestic guys that are getting drafted coming up at 20, make them cool. I don't think that was talked enough, and it's unfortunate. And this is why baseball has gone over the last 30 years from number one sport in America to they're trying to keep up with MLS at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the problem, they have a lot of problems with. Here's the thing: if you're a baseball fan, right, and you know the players and stuff, you know that they're like the game is in a great place player wise in terms of young talent and like guys that are in their prime. Like these guys there are legitimate stars all over the league right now. And if the best player in the league, I'm not going to say Ohtani is the best player in the league. I know he won the MVP last year. If Mike Trout walked into a bar, nobody would have a clue who he was. They wouldn't even entertain that he was anything other than some guy, right? Like the league doesn't. So what the league wanted to do here, which this is where they messed everything up, right? Because you could go on Twitter, you could go on Facebook, you could go on social, and you could post your own, like you could record your own clip of an NBA game, of a dunk, put it on social, and the NBA doesn't come after you and be like, you got to take that down. The MLB wants to own all their rights to all of their stuff. So people on social media can't put it up themselves. They got it taken down. Like,
I didn't know that.
What are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
For it, that is literally the microcosm of what the MLB is they're the only league that they don't want to promote.
Recent,
it's been for years, right?
It's been going on for a while, and it's nonsense too. Like it's ridiculous. It's like they just want to own they own the footage. So like some kid who's 15 can't like put up a tweet of like Mike Trout like legging out a triple, diving into third base,
which will grow the brand, which will grow the sport.
Right? No, he's got to take that down.
Yeah, they're handicapping themselves, and there's so many things. I'm so glad for it. You didn't know about that because I knew about that for about 3 or 4 years, and it's little things like that they're so behind. You want to talk about an old man sport, an old man thinking? They are so behind on social media, on marketing, on the game, where it's like we're just now putting in universal DH, and we talked about this a few episodes ago, like just now, where we should have done that 10 years ago. Why we do it? Like one half of the league plays by one rules and the other half plays by another. And when they both come together as in the championship, depending on where we play geographically, that's where the rules are. It's so insane.
I was like kind of against the multiple DH because I get the argument of like taking the strategy out of the game, this, that, the other thing. And then I watched one shortened season with the DH, and I was like, this is awesome because I don't have to watch a pitcher who has no interest in hitting and can't even bunt when he needs to bunt. Yeah. I don't have to watch
running.
Right.
Or running if they even get on base.
I don't need to watch that. Now I could watch an actual hitter who gives a shit. So like that, like that's it. It's just little things like that. I mean, I like and I said this last year. I had a big rant about this last year. Obviously, baseball, like all sports, have analytics, but baseball brings analytics to the forefront of everything. Mm-hmm. And it's like people don't want to hear about that. Like last year, there was the White Sox catcher, Yasmani Grandal, right? Look, I understand like his OPS. That's like an analytical stat. It's on base percentage plus slugging percentage. That's what it stands for, right? His batting average is 136 though. Okay. So they want to tell you that like the OPS matters. So they wrote an article, front page news on the MLB website about a catcher who's batting 136. And they talked about all his analytical stats and why he's actually good. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like, why don't I have?
He got a lot of money from Chicago too, right? From being
money
from the Dodgers, right? I think he came from.
Yeah. Oh, he was in a few different places, but like,
okay,
but like, I'm just not getting why we're focusing on the analytics stuff. Like, why don't I have Shohei Ohtani dropping bombs on the front page every single time I go to the MLB website? Why don't I have like Vlad Guerrero bat flipping it to the friggin' moon when I go on the MLB website?
He was killing it all year last year.
No, I got a guy hitting 136 talking about why he's really good because the stats that some nerd in the back who's never played before put together says, oh, he's actually good. leave me alone. I don't care. Oh, sorry, I get like really jacked up about baseball.
No,
stuff.
dude, it's funny to see and hear you because I don't listen to a lot of baseball podcasts. I listen to Short Porch which is very Barstool and the Yankees. That's how I get my baseball fix. But other than that, I just talked to my boy AP, and we vent to each other every single day exactly how you're talking, and it's so frustrating as a fan since it was my first sport that I fell in love with, and then I found basketball. I was like, oh, there's another better one. But I always held it in my heart, and I always want more people to view it because I want people to feel what we feel when we're talking about it is aggravation, but also the passion.
Right, because it's like also you watch, right? You're watching these games, right? Like people are like, oh, it's boring, but like if you're like paying attention to the game and it's like the middle of the 5th inning and it's a tied game and it's 2nd and 3rd one out, like that's a tense situation. Like
that's not boring.
That wins or loss loses the game right there.
Like that is a tense situation, and like you, like I'm a psycho because I think with like the count. So I'm like, all right, so it's 1-0. Like he's got to throw him a fastball here. Like there's no way he's not throwing him a fastball, and then he throws him a curveball, and I'm like, I'm an idiot. Like you know what I mean? It's just like I'm thinking along with the count. I'm thinking along with the situation, and like that's another thing that's ruined baseball. Here's another problem with baseball: situational hitting has gone out the window because of analytics. So analytics tells you,
i.e., the Yankees, worst situational hitters in the world,
because the analytics tell you that every out is created equal. So if you strike out, it doesn't matter if it's a strikeout or if you put the ball in play.
So
that's
dumb.
nonsense. So like if there's a runner on second and nobody out and I strike out, that runner doesn't do anything. But if I hit a ground ball to second base and he goes to third, you know how many different ways you could score from third base as opposed to second base?
Yep.
A lot. Pass ball. You don't even need a hit to score from third base. Pass ball, error, whatever it is. Like nobody thinks like that. Everyone's like the Yankees. It's like, oh, I'll just take Joey Gallo. He's going to hit 180, but he's going to hit 40 home runs and he's going to strike out 250 times. I want that guy. It's like, no, I don't want that guy. Joey Gallo would be in AAA for his entire career if this was 1998.
100%.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. Good thing he could play defense, and he is one of those he won a Gold Glove. Good thing he is. That protects his job at the end of the day. But you're 100% right as far as just pure offense. There's guys in the league that Chris Davis is one of them that got that big deal that Orioles literally paid him for like his last 3 seasons to go away.
Just to like leave. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
just to not be around.
But it's like, and that's why like I didn't agree with it at first. Like they banned the shift now. So I didn't agree with that at first because I was like, they wouldn't need to ban the shift if guys just, said, I'm just going to hit it the other way. But since guys don't do that and they don't have any interest in doing that, banning the shift now makes a situation where guys can hit the ball like they normally would. They don't have to worry about placing it. Mm-hmm. And they don't need to now try and hit a home run over everybody, which they shouldn't have been doing anyway. Like Bryce, everybody's like, oh, it's really hard to do this. And I'm like, these guys have world-class hand-eye coordination. They see 100 miles an hour pitching every day. Bryce Harper, the NL MVP last year. By the way, I don't know if you watched when they shifted him, he bunted and he'd get on base, and then they didn't
Joey
shift him
Gallo
anymore.
did that a few times last year where he easily bunted because the whole left side, there's not another fielder within 50 yards of him.
Right. So it's
simple.
Like, what if they're like, oh, like it's really hard to do. It's like, don't tell me that it's easier for a guy to hit a home run than it is to bunt. It's not. Like, it's not. I'm sorry. If you think that, you're a psychopath. Come debate me because it's not possible.
Love it.
Yeah.
When you say banning the shift, what I mean, I know what a shift is, but like, so the second baseman can't play short right field.
So basically, yes, and they can't have. I don't think they could have 3 guys on one side of second base anymore. So that's what they would do, and they'd bring over. They put like it was ridiculous. Like a guy like, let's think of a lefty. There'd be no one on this. After
they did it with Gallo. They used to do it with Teixeira.
They do it. They did it with what's his name? The guy on the Giants, the lefty first, Brandon Belt. Like the guy would hit a line drive.
Base guy, by the way.
Guy hit a line drive to right field, right? But it's an out because the second baseman is playing like on the grass
way deep
between the right fielder and the infield. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So that's gone now. That's it. Which means that guys are going to hit The guys are going to get on base a little bit more now, and they're going to get on base by swinging the bat as opposed to getting on base by walking. Like walking's great and everything, but it's the most boring part of baseball.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the
It's great in the postseason. Great in the postseason, but not in a regular season game.
No. And like, but the thing is, so I think I've been retweeting these clips from the Savannah Bananas. They've created, changing all these rules. Like they play banana ball or whatever. And if a guy walks, I don't know what, I love this rule as like a baseball purist. I should hate it, but I love this rule. If a guy walks, he has to sprint to second base, and every defender needs to touch the ball. If every defender touches the ball before he gets to second, he's out.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
I mean, it's not baseball, but it's so much fun.
If they catch a foul ball, it's out.
Yeah, if they catch a foul ball in the stands, he's out. You could steal first base, like a pet ball. It's great. It's good. Like they could. I mean, they don't have to bring all those rules, but like, it's entertaining. It's entertaining. Like I don't like the dancing on the mound thing and then throwing pitches. Like it's like Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. Like, but there are some stuff that I like.
I seen that one thing you posted, retweeted the other day with where a guy or it was a bad pitch and it went behind the catcher, and then you could steal first.
Yeah,
right. I love that. That puts pressure on like somebody. I watched Gary Sanchez over the last 5 or 6 seasons that every ball would go past him, especially nobody on. And it would be like, all right, I get it. We have a catcher that sucks, but it would be like, let's get rid of him because now it's going to cost us base runners. I like that. Right. That's a rule that keeps that the old time people would hate. Be like, oh, that doesn't make sense. But it does make sense. It puts emphasis on something that you're not paying attention to. And that's what baseball needs. You need to pay attention to every aspect of baseball for it to be great. And that's something that, hey, catchers, go catch the ball. If you don't catch the ball, somebody could go now you have a base runner. Yeah, do your job.
Do your job. Do your job. Don't fall asleep. I'm sorry you had to watch Gary for the last 5 years.
Yeah, no, that was painful. But the backup for the last couple of seasons has been doing well. So we're excited about that in spring training. So
I couldn't stop thinking about Moneyball when you were talking about analytics, all these stats. That was all my mind was on.
Great movie.
And it's like the thing with the money, like the A's are like a big Moneyball team, right? Like they haven't won shit. All right. So
right.
And the Rays, the Rays are a big analytics team. But the thing is, in the playoffs, the analytics get you through the regular season, but in the playoffs, you need horses. You need stud pitching, like 1 or 2 guys that are studs. You need situational hitting because you're facing a stud on the mound every single night. And if you strike out every time up, you can't scratch and claw runs together. Like you're not going to just hit home runs off stud pitchers every single night in the playoffs, especially in a short series. And that's like what I feel like I feel like now it's starting to come back around a little bit. Like I know the Astros cheated, but when they won the World Series, they actually weren't like a home run or nothing team. Like they had situational hitting. Even the Nats, when the Nats beat the Astros, that was a great example of a team that was like situationally hitting. They scratched and clawed every single game. Didn't need home runs.
And then home runs just happened naturally. Right. Whatever it was, like home runs were just a microcosm of what they had at their core. And that's what I love.
Give me a guy, I say this all the time, give me a guy that hits like 30 to 35 home runs with like 25 to 30 doubles and hits like 280 to 300 than a guy that hits 230 with 45 home runs and like 10 balls. Well, I don't.
Yeah. We obsess over that, and that's so bad.
Yes.
So
sorry.
Let's. I didn't expect us to go too far into baseball, which I love. Hopefully, as linking up Enter the Lab and yourself, more baseball people will listen to this episode, and that's the name of the game. But real quick, what do you have predictions wise as far as maybe divisions? What do you have as far as futures?
Marlins World Series, baby.
We're kind of
touching them.
What we have, when we have you on, hopefully we could do something, mid-season, and then at the end of the year, we'll have you on again. We could look back at this episode and laugh at ourselves, or be
hopefully we're not laughing. Hopefully we're not laughing. We might be laughing though. I don't know. All right, I got a few. I don't have everything. So I said this before the show when we were talking. I'm not big on team win totals because I don't like that the money's locked up for 6 months on -110. Like everything's -110. I don't want money locked up for that long. Sorry, it's just not how I play the game. But when I'm looking at futures, I'm looking at like some value. Like, where's the value on the division? So I'm going to start with the AL Central, right? First of all, also, actually, I'll start in the AL East. I'm picking the Yankees to win the division. All right. Everybody's hot on the Blue Jays. This is coming from a Mets fan. Everybody's hot on the Blue Jays, by the way. I understand that why we're hot on the Blue Jays. Now, I don't agree with this, but if the whole vaccine thing is an issue and like unvaccinated guys can't play in Toronto, that's probably going to change my pick. I think it's nonsense, but whatever. But if that's not the case, I think the Yankees are going to win the division. I know the Blue Jays are good. They have a good team. They have a stacked lineup. They have some good, like their pitching, their starting staff is actually really good. But like, I actually don't think the Yankees starting rotation is as bad as everybody makes it. Okay. You still got Garrett Cole there. Jordan Montgomery is going to surprise a lot of people this year. I actually think Luis Severino is going to have a good year. Why did everybody like forget about Nestor Cortez? He was great last year. And then I don't even know who the fifth starter is, but their rotation is not that bad. Their bullpen's still good, and their lineup is actually they actually did get better. Isaiah Kiner Falefa, who when they made the trade, like everybody hated it, right? And I was like, he's everything you guys say you want. He doesn't hit home runs. He gets on base. He gets hit. He gets hits. Defense, speed. He's everything that you guys say you want, and now you hate this. Like, yes, he has no power at all. Who cares? Let him bat ninth. Let him play defense. Let him steal bases. Josh Donaldson is a question mark. I don't know if you got better there. If he plays, then maybe, but he's always getting hurt. I don't know why, but if he's healthy, he's going to hit 25, 30 home runs for you guys. I think you guys are sleeping on I think Yankee fans are sleeping on the team as a whole. And like, you still got your horse. You got Garrett Cole there. Yeah. He's a horse. And
still got a solid bullpen.
Still above got a solid average. Pen. Like, I mean, Chapman had stop throwing the slider. Please, like, throw 100 and stop hanging your slider. That's it. It solves the problem right there. And then the values on them, they're plus 250. The Blue Jays, I think, moved to like plus 150, plus 175 or something like that. I don't really love it because a couple injuries could change that. I don't like the Rays. Yeah. If you want to take an over-under on win totals, take the Rays under. I think the Rays are a 500 team. They lost some bats. Everybody's very high on Wander Franco. I get it. He's got half a season under his belt. Okay. Let's see him do it full time.
First game pulled up in like a fucking white Phantom. Like what? Yeah. I think I sent that to you in the group chat. That was wild, bro. Like
dude got paid too. But like they have one pitcher. They got this kid. They got this kid McClanahan. He's their pitcher. Glasnow's out again for the year. I don't really love their pitching. I don't know if they could piece it together to win 90 games. I think the minimum to win that division can be 90 games. So there's that. I'll go to the Central now. I'm taking the Twins as a future to win the AL Central. The value, like I said, I look for value, right? The value's on them at plus 500. There's no Whites at minus 210. Zero value there. Okay. Yeah. Especially when the money's going to be locked your money's locked for 6 months and you're not going to be able to cash out in the middle of the season. So there's that. All right. Twins made some nice moves. The pitching staff is good enough and they're going to hit. And they added Carlos Correa. They're sneaky. They're sneaky. Like I said, Lance Lynn is already injured for the White Sox. They lost Carlos Rodon. Okay. So maybe now you're looking at a team that doesn't have like this stud starting rotation that everybody thought. Yeah, the lineup's still good, but they have an injury-prone lineup. Couple injuries there, the Twins could win that division.
But if the Twins happen to have to face the Yankees in the playoffs, it's over because they've never beat us or even won a game against us. So it's like the kryptonite is there.
They'll definitely lose that there. Yeah. I'm just saying to win the Central.
Of course.
And then this is a pick that like a lot of people very surprised at, but I'm taking the Phillies plus 340 to win the NL East. The Mets have their pitching issues now with injuries. We don't know when DeGrom's coming back. Scherzer's hamstring bothering him, and he's up there in age. Let's not sugarcoat that. Brandon Nemo's got a neck injury again. The lineup's still pretty good. I don't know. They're a question mark, and I don't really love the plus 200 or 250, whatever that is. Braves are plus 125, but like do they have a World Series hangover? I don't know. I guess we're gonna see. And so I like the value to me is on the Phillies plus 340 there. So those are my division. Those are my division futures, and then my personal player futures. NL Cy Young, Zach Wheeler plus finished 3 last year. He could do it again. He's a legitimate ace. I think he is a legitimate ace, especially if the Phillies win the division, and he's the guy that carries them. He goes deep in games now. He strikes out a lot of guys.
It's funny coming from a Met fan that it hurt you a little bit because you had him and then you let him go, and then it
killed me. I didn't want to let him go. I wanted to sign. I would have never let that guy go. I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't have. I said it at the time. I even said it. I was like, that's gonna come back to bite them at some point.
And I don't think they got much value back. No.
They didn't trade him. They just they let him walk.
They just let him go. Okay, and that's even worse. Jesus.
They let him walk. They didn't even give him an offer.
Yeah, that's
worse. That's worse. That's the old regime. The new regime smarter than the old
new regime.
But still. So I do like Zach Wheeler there, and then let's go. And then I'll stay in the NL for this one. NL Rookie of the Year, Hunter Green on the Reds plus 650. This kid throws absolute cheese.
Is he only pitching now? Because I know when he got drafted a few years back, he was dueled as what was he, a shortstop? Am I wrong about that?
I think he was an outfielder.
Outfielder. I mean, that makes more sense, but for some reason I thought infield.
But I think he's just pitching now because he throws like
yeah. It's not. That's the Otanis. There's not a lot of them out there, dude.
This dude throws like 104.
Great name, Hunter Green, by the way.
Hunter Green's great, and also I like what the Reds did. So like, there's another thing baseball does that pisses me off. There's a thing called service time manipulation, right? So if a player who's in the minors, if he starts the year on your roster, then you lose a year of control on him for him to get the free agency. But if he comes up like May 1st after 30 games, you have him for an extra year. So they
wasn't that what happened with Chris Bryant?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So the Reds, I'm very happy that the Reds said Hunter Green's probably our best pitcher. He's not starting the season in the minors. He's on the major league roster. So I love that. I love that he's going to have a full year. I love that he throws 104. He throws smoke, this kid. I mean, the Reds are going to be terrible, but he might win Rookie of the Year. So plus 650 there. Then in the AL Cy Young, Jose Berrios. He's on the Blue Jays. He's plus 2,000. The Blues have a really good year. He's the A that stuff. I mean, that's where my money's going. I know everybody's like Garrett Cole. I get it. I understand. But plus 2,000
is nasty. He's good.
He's good. Plus 2,000. And then I know this one, AL MVP. I'm just going to preface this. Last year, I picked Ohtani at plus 3,500, March 16th to win AL MVP. This one's not as. This one is plus 3,000, but I like Bo Bichette from Toronto. All right. I know Vladdy's on the team and everything. I get that. But you got to think about this, like how voters think. The voters like the analytical stuff, which WAR is included. It's a fake stat, by the way. If you want me to get into that, we can. But WAR is that's their thing. They love WAR, and he's going to do things that Vladdy can't do. Like he plays really good defense and he steals bases. And if he's a catalyst in that lineup, if he's, he could go 30 home runs, 30 steals easily. Like if he does something like that, has a high WAR, the Blue Jays are really good, he can win the MVP. He's worth the shot at plus 3,000. My views on MLB this year. If you want me to go into why WAR isn't a real stat, we could, but I don't know if we have time.
Wins above replacement.
Yeah, Bo Bichette, he's a beast. He's got that long hair, and he's a hitter. I mean, that's a prototypical guy that I would love on my team, where he hits consistently, but then he's got the pop that comes naturally from hitting, and obviously he can field his position. He's an ideal stud. Toronto's gonna have to pay him very soon. They got a lot of people that they have already paid, and they're gonna have to pay. So they're in a great position to have.
Yeah.
They could trade
also, I see the TV behind you right now, Ray. Sorry, Elvis. I see the TV behind you, and it looks like Baycott's got a little bit of a limp.
Yeah, you seen that, right? I was kind of like peeking out my eye.
Got a little bit of a limp. I don't
There
know.
you go.
I don't know,
Just
man.
tape that bitch up. Tape that
They
bitch
better.
up, baby.
He wasn't. He was walking gingerly. That's for sure.
He was. Yes, that is a good. That is a good. I don't like to use that term a lot.
I know. I use it only on that time.
Hey, they
Gingerly.
called up Steph Curry and got his ankle things, so he'll be.
That's it. They've been shooting his ankle with cortisone for like the last like hour and a half. That's it.
Oh, absolutely.
They're not icing it.
Just,
No ice allowed.
No
they are
ice.
just cortisone only. So
there's a lot of money involved in this game. That's for sure.
What do you think? You like Brady Manick over 2.5 threes?
I don't know. I was looking at his threes actually today. I think I was taking a shit, and I was like, let me look at some box scores of like the previous games, and I was seeing that he was hitting. He's great percentage from three. He's like 40%.
He started off, dude. He started that Duke game off rough. He did not have a good depth perception in that. So this is what they say about they play these games in football stadiums now. So like they say the depth perception is thrown off. That's why
that's true for sure.
I don't know if that's the case tonight because like they've already played a game in there and Kansas seemed to have no issues with it. They shot. I can't believe Kansas shot 54% from three. Dude,
they started. They
you know what?
Everything.
Just to say something on the depth perception, you know why I know that's true as a Nets fan? So the Garden, the Lakers, and the Nets, they have the black lights. They black out the crowds. I'm telling you, teams and some certain players hoop when they play in the Barclays compared to and the Garden. People go there and hoop too. I'm telling you, there's something about lower lighting, and I'm not saying this is relating to New Orleans, but it can play a part. Is if you have a perception of the hoop and it's a little different or it caters to the athlete, they could really hoop because people come in our building in the Barclays and they all-time career high performances as far as shooting. So I think that does play a little point in now playing in domes, which you've never done before or they've never done.
I mean, it's crazy to think about like you're playing basketball in a football dome.
Nuts.
I mean, they just try to pack everybody in to make as much money as possible.
Oh, of course. That's the reason why.
Like I was like looking at it, I was like, "There's a basketball arena next door." They had like the overview.
It was right next to it.
I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "The basketball arena's next door. What are we doing?"
It's all money. What is that? The Smoothie King Arena? Nobody wants. That doesn't sound as sexy as the Superdome
the
or
Caesar Superdome. They got the gambling in with the Caesar Superdome.
Of course, Every arena in the future is going to be either a sports betting or a currency.
Or crypto.com arena. Man, I mean
FTX arena.
I mean, just keep buying the right cryptos for now because we're in some trouble, boys. Just saying.
Next time we have you on, we could go into a little business and something like that.
We could.
That's where sports expertise.
We could do a little maybe if we go on like mid baseball season, we could do like if your baseball team was a cryptocurrency, like which one they would be.
I'm writing that down now.
Can we get rid of these unwritten rules in baseball? Like
the unwritten rules are dumb now. They're dumb. I agree. Go ahead.
If a player wants to celebrate when he hits a 450-foot shot, like let him celebrate. Like the pitcher shouldn't get mad. You gave up a home run, and then you got the third baseman talking shit as he's like dapping up the third base coach. Like, nah, bro. Like every other sport is totally cool. You know, James Harden hits a three, he's coming down the court like this. Melo hits a three, he's like this. Football players score a touchdown, they celebrating. But baseball, you got to be calm, cool, and collected. It's like
I'm with you there. Like I don't think like I'm with you on that. Like I think like if you hit a home run off of a guy who's throwing 100 miles an hour and you want to throw your bat into outer space, you should be able to.
Yeah.
That's what people want to watch that though. So I just don't understand why like people want to see celebrations and like every other sport you could celebrate, like football, like you said. Yeah. I don't understand why. Like let them just have fun. It's especially a kid's game. Let them be
having to worry about the next person getting beamed in the back. Because this other dude celebrated, like, no, that just makes it so much worse.
I do like when guys get beamed, though.
Yeah,
like, not for that, not for that. But like, I mean, but baseball is the worst fights. They're not even fights. They're like
They're not.
fights.
Yeah.
like,
And then the bullpen comes running 300 feet and they
Bro,
just stand there. It's like, bro, just
that's-
stay your ass in the bullpen.
that's the thing they got to work on. I'm all for fights in sports because they're never actual fights, but like they need to ban the bullpen from rushing in because it delays the game so much more. Like they should say literally, if you step outside of the bullpen, you were thrown out. I understand the dugouts coming out because they're protecting their players, but the bullpen coming out, it's almost just like the infiltrate of just like additional people that don't need to. They just stand around at the end of the day.
I think
just to
if
get
the
their
bullpen comes out, then there needs to be blood drawn in the fight.
Yeah. Let's
Or
give them
punches
swords
thrown.
and let's go.
That's it. Get a
kill each other.
bat with some nails in it.
You want to talk?
maybe?
Yeah, you want to talk about ratings? Treat it like WrestleMania. Give them
Oh
some,
wait, I did this last year. This is what I think. This would spice up baseball a lot. People would hate this one. This is my idea to spice up baseball. Not the safest idea, but because you know how nothing happens when they lose a challenge.
Yes.
Now, so I think now
this is crazy.
It's nuts. So I think if you lose a challenge, the other team gets to select whatever player they want to use a metal bat in whatever situation they want. Like,
I mean, it's better than what they got going on now.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely
there's
like,
no
nothing goes on.
consequences.
Like that's the penalty for losing a challenge. Like,
Yeah,
Mike Trout gets to use a metal bat his next time up. Like, you want that?
baseball's the only thing that like you can't have consequences. There's not many consequences. They need to create. You lose a challenge, you get an out for that. Whatever inning it is, you could continue to challenge. And I love challenges. I don't think the NBA has enough challenges because there's sometimes where
they don't do it right either.
You don't challenge at all in the first half, even though it could be a good play. And then you're challenging. You do one challenge in the second half, and then that's your max. You're maxed out at that point. So there's almost not enough challenges in that sport. Football has it figured out because there's a lot of under 2 minutes that helps. But yeah, MLB's got to do something about like you can't challenge in the 8th or 9th inning. It's got to be up to the umpires, stuff like that. But that's another thing that's outdated. All of a sudden, watch 5 years from now they'll start talking about it instead of talking about it now.
Yeah, there's a lot of we got a lot of problems there. But what are you gonna?
But to wrap up this episode, we covered college basketball. We covered a lot more baseball. Hopefully, if you are a baseball fan, you listen and we spit a lot of knowledge.
Thursday,
April 7th,
Thursday, baby. Thursday, baby.
Red Sox, Yankees, which should be a tradition.
Mets, Nats.
Nets, Nats?
Yeah, it shouldn't be. That should not be a tradition. But.
No, not at all.
I hate the Nationals. Man.
Juan Soto's the only player on that team.
Yeah, he's nasty.
They haven't locked him down yet, right?
No, he's going to be a free agent. And he's going to sign with the Mets because we have money
bad. So bad. But give us what you got going on. Give us, this is a time to promote and let people know what you have going on.
Well, yeah, you could find me on Twitter at Steve_Armato. You could find me on TikTok at Stevie Locks if you want to laugh a little bit. I do a lot of voiceover.
You are great on TikTok. Like we will post something tomorrow for sure. You're amazing.
Thank you. I try. Actually, on that, like I'm doing 2 Instagram reels a week for this company, Sports Grid.
Sweet.
I'm doing like a little weekly series called What's the Play. My first one was last week. I went 2-0, Kansas and UNC. And I'll do one funny reel Instagram reel and TikTok for them as well. So you get both best of both worlds there. And you can find me on Parlay Friday is my podcast. It's on Spotify. It's very easy to find. Type in Parlay Friday. It comes up. There's a little bag of money there. It's perfect. Every Friday. It's a newsletter as well. So you could sign up for the newsletter on Substack. It's free. I don't sell picks. I don't charge for subscriptions.
Nice.
I just give you info, and that's the end of the story. And then my company, LARK Media, we do a lot of video podcast production, branding and stuff like that. So, if you ever needed that, you can find us there too. See, I do a lot of, I'm a digital media guy. So that's what we got. But thank you for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, dude, no, thanks for being on. Like, I needed some baseball insight. Like, I'm hyped for the season now. Of course, I got the Marlins, but hey,
It's all right. You guys are rebuilding. You've been rebuilding for 3 years.
We've been rebuilding since 2003, bro.
rebuilding so much that Derek Jeter was like, I gotta get out of here because I can't do this.
I'm
no
out,
more.
bro.
He's like, I thought this was a good opportunity. It's
Yeah,
not.
I'm good. But hey,
I mean-
as long as the Marlins are not good, I get to go to a game. I could buy tickets that same day for $40-$50 and be, front and get a foul ball or right there with a pitcher's autograph. I could do whatever because it's $50 to get in the arena.
And it's a nice
That's pretty
stadium
good.
too, man.
I got to
is
come
nice.
down. So my brother-in-law just moved to Miami, so I got to come visit my brother-in-law, and then we go to a Marlins Mets game.
Hit me up.
Yeah, that's what we got to do.
Yeah,
and then we'll
it'll be
make
fun.
like serious. Then we'll make like serious social content while we're at the game. I want to do like this. I want to do like a video series where like I give people like the proper like ballpark experience like at each ballpark. Like I already know what I do. Like if I was going to like I talked about this the other day. If I was like going to a Yankee game, right? Like I already know what I do. I go like 3 hours early, go to either laser stands, get hammered before the game. Then you go into the game and you do standing room tickets because there's that bar in right center field. You watch the game from there the entire time, and then you sampled. You do some food samples, you do some betting, and then you get out. Like I feel like you could do that at all these parks now. Like what? Like
I'm telling you, have you ever been to the Marlins Park or whatever it's called now?
I have not.
Listen, it's all about not baseball. They have like Colombian night, Dominican Republic night. They have cornhole. You could play. It's literally all about not watching the baseball game and more about the experience. So like when you go to a game, you're like, oh wait, there's also baseball. That's basically how they promote it.
But that's like what keeps people coming to parks though. Like
yeah,
I love baseball. I love baseball, but like I go to Citi Field because Citi Field is an awesome place to go. Like I went there recently. I get a standing room ticket when I go to Citi Field so that I could move around the stadium and watch the game from any angle that I want and do whatever I want. Like there's bars in different sections, open areas. Like you could watch you don't even have to be looking at the field. You can watch the game on the TV right there if you want to. Like there's a lot of different things you could do. Like even at Wrigley was sick. I went there for my bachelor party in July. Like that. If everybody could go to one baseball game, like go to a game at Wrigley Field. It's just like try not to do July because it's like 1,000 degrees. But
he's cooking out there.
Yeah, just like there's no refuge. Like it's bleachers. There's no shade. There's no shade anywhere. It's just like you're getting baked the whole time. I had to leave in the 4th inning because I was like I got to go to a bar and like cool.
That's awesome, man. Well, once again, we appreciate you for coming on. Hopefully, this is not the first or the last time you hop on with us. We appreciate you hopping on, talking a little basketball, talking a little baseball, and then when we maybe we'll have you on to midway through the baseball season, chop it up a little bit, and maybe we'll teach you some basketball stuff going into next year.
I would like
grow your horizons a little bit.
I would like you to do that for me. I need to get on that. I felt like it was a lot to like try to pick up another sport in the middle of the season.
Yeah,
we can do that.
No,
I gotta get you on Parlay Friday for the NBA playoffs because then you could educate my viewers on
there you
NBA.
go. Bet the fort.
Like that.
That's
you
what,
just gotta be.
That's what he
you
said.
You guys got to be awake though. It's like I record early in the morning on Fridays, man.
Yeah, Ford's got to work on waking up, before 9 a.m. He's working on that.
That's it. I'm an early bird. Man. That's it.
I am too, bro. I got you. Well, thank you again for coming on to Enter the Lab, bro. And we'll talk to you real soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, man.
All right, peace, brother. All right, Forte. What's going on, man? Yeah, a lot of baseball talk, a lot of bets. Hopefully you took some notes.
Got my pen and paper ready.
Absolutely.
I need it.
Yeah.
All the help I can
get.
It's
good because baseball, I was thinking that whole time was baseball is coming, and in the summer you got soccer's coming at the end of the summer. I think in the fall because it usually is in the summer, but it's in Qatar and they can't play soccer games in Qatar with that temperature. So you're gonna have to be brushed up on some baseball tips and so hopefully we could link again even sooner. Maybe we'll do maybe a betting spot here and there, but we got 15 minutes, maybe a few minutes. Let's jump into what you have going on. as far as topics you want to bring up, anything you want to talk about real quick?
I got two things real quick.
Yeah.
Elon Musk making a bunch of money buying almost 10% of Twitter. Hopefully that's some good changes to come for that app, because I mean it's the best app there is in my opinion, but always you can improve it. So with Elon Musk, I mean that dude is a genius. So I see nothing but good things coming from that. And what I'm most excited about is UFC 273, baby.
Talk
We
about
got
that.
two championship fights. We got Gilbert Burns against Hamzat as the third of, before the co-main and the main. That's probably the fight everyone's most hype about. The main event is Volkanovski. That
Yep.
dude is a savage. He's fighting Korean Zombie.
He could
another
take
fucking
punches
savage.
and give punches at the same time.
Bruh,
He's wild.
His fight against Brian Ortega, I have no freaking idea how he got
That's
out
a
of
classic, right?
Won the headlock. Oh, dude, I rewatched that
If
fight.
you
the
got to
other
show
day.
a person, hey, this is UFC, watch it. That would probably be one of 5 fights you show all time.
Yep. And then the co-main event is a rematch of Aljamain Sterling and Poirier Yan. That fight ended on an illegal knee. Aljamain Sterling was still down on the ground, and Poirier Yan just gave him a nasty knee right to the temple. So both those fighters are going to come in motivated to just knock each other's heads off. I don't know which fight I'm most excited about, because that card is stacked. It's in Jacksonville, of course, right after I moved, and I start work on the 11th, so it's not like I could just
How
be
far
like,
are you from there, like of a drive
from Jacksonville?
right now?
2 hours, like hour and a half, 2
Okay.
hours. Not bad. If I wanted to, I could
Not
make
bad,
the trip.
but you wouldn't be able to just be like, oh, I'm going to hop in a car and drive.
Nah.
plan it
If
out.
I had tickets, I'd definitely do it. But if I was still down there, I would have went and just tried to scalp. Figure it out. Hey, need tickets to go. But I'm not going to drive 2 hours to try and scalp and then take my ass
Absolutely.
another 2 hours. But that card is stacked. If you're not into UFC, or if you don't like
That's
it that
this
much,
Saturday?
This Saturday. Yeah, there was no UFC last week, but
Yeah, I see that. That was the first time in months, huh?
Yeah, and forever. Yeah, which is, I mean, it was kind of needed, because they've just done such a good job of putting so many fights and promoting and everything, and they do such a good job. Like we talk about it all the time. I just can't get enough of it. Like, dude, like you sit around with your boys, drink a few beers or whatever you want to drink, and watch men and women just try and knock each other out. It's the best sport right now to me. Like, I could watch UFC all day.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Jamaica Thursday, so I got a lot. Dude, I'm telling you, if I wasn't going to be in Jamaica on Thursday, I would be in the lab from Thursday to Sunday, because you got UFC on Saturday. You got the Masters from Thursday to Sunday. You have
I'm about like
opening
an
day
hour
with
from
baseball.
the Masters from Augusta.
Yeah, that's dope, dude. It's like it's the way you break open. It's baseball used to be the thing, or still is the thing, where it's like summer's coming. The Masters also is because it's kind of the same time, but I'd be locked in the lab if I wasn't going to Jamaica. Hopefully, I'd be vibing too. I'd be, it's a good thing I'm going to Jamaica just to relax a little bit, get away.
Yeah,
but definitely, I'm going to have my phone on me, be watching. I'm going to have to find a way to set up a lab wherever I'm at. Multiple phones, iPads, maybe, just to be able to relax and also enjoy some sports. So, yeah, so that's a good thing. Let's see. Some hoops that I wanted to bring up to you this episode was, do you enjoy, what was it, 2 years ago that they tried in the playing game? Overall, do you like the playing game?
I think it was last year, right?
Yeah, it was something, because I'm losing track with all the COVID years and 2020, 2021 is throwing me off. But do you like the playing game? Do you like the extra, top 6 teams made in each conference? 7 plays 8. The loser of 7 to 8 plays winner of 9 and 10. Loser of 9 and 10 goes home. It's a lot to get used to, but do you like it overall?
I'm indifferent about it, to be honest. I like that it gives, it's kind of like a participation trophy type of deal. Like, okay, you finished 9th, but you have a chance to get in type shit. But I mean, the NBA season, even though it's only 82 games, it's still such a long, stretched out season. Like with the back to back, some players are playing 5-6 games in 7-8 nights. So, like for example, the Pelicans lost their best player, for the whole year. And people want to see Zion. So if they get a chance to make the playoffs, now you might get a chance to see Zion. Like,
Yeah.
so, it's
And
cool
also with the Lakers and the Nets playing poorly and having weird situations, now all of a
with
sudden
the
you get to
Nets.
see them where you
Exactly.
probably wouldn't have gotten to see them, which is weird, right? Before they did this rule, they didn't think Lakers and the Nets would be in the playoff,
Yeah.
but now it is.
And the Lakers were in it last year too. So they might not even make it this year. And that's probably one of the greatest disappointments of all time. But I feel like it's cool. It's a good rule just because it, like I said, it helps certain teams try and get in there. But I mean, it's also, like I said, I'm indifferent about it because now you got this 9th seed team that's going to play the 1 seed, and they're most likely just going to get waxed. So it's cool. It's all for money. The NBA did it to have an extra game, make things a lot more interesting because it's one and done. Like you lose, you're pretty much out unless whatever the rules are. It's going to take a lot for NBA fans to get used to it and whatnot, but it is what it is at this point. I mean, to me, the NBA is probably, if there was a league, it's the perfect league. They do things the right way. They want fans to watch. So I'm all for it. I like it. I'm going to tune in, of course, because those teams don't want to lose. It doesn't matter if you're the 7 or 8. You don't want to play an extra game.
Yeah, so. I mean, I get why they did it. They did it to keep teams, like the same thing with the lottery. They try to keep teams from tanking to become the number 1 or number 2 pick. And then the same thing with those intermediate teams where they're not going to make a run or a real play, but to kind of keep them interested. Because at the end of the day, you have a couple of playoff games at home. That's extra revenue, the owners
absolutely.
like that. So I like the concept business-wise and player-wise because, hey, if you're the 7, 8, 9, and 10 seed, you're not playing for much anyway. It helps to have an extra game, helps at the end of the season, maybe a John Morant, let's say, for example, if he wasn't one of the top teams in the West, somebody like John Morant needs that. Let's say I'm only using him as an example, but like you get a really good player like that wants a taste of the playoffs. That's a way to give a taste, and then it will motivate them for. So overall,
which is what happened. Which is what happened with that Grizzlies team. Dude, they're 20-2 without him. It makes absolutely no sense to me how they're so great without their leader, their best player, their alpha dog. Like,
it's simple. It's how you have a good team. Everybody says, "Oh, who's out? Oh, they're not. Bucks aren't playing without Giannis. All right, they're definitely going to lose. Dallas ain't playing without Luka. The fact that their best player, John Morant's out, and it's like, I don't know if they're going to lose this game. They might win.
And they're not winning by 1 or 2 points, 3 points. They're
playing
blowing teams out. So
they beat the Nets without them. So
yeah, that's a team to watch. I can't even say sneaky because they won 50+ games. So
yeah, not at all. One thing that I see that I let you know about was Kyle Lowry. Toronto Raptors built a real statue for him. I don't know what that's about. I won't spend too much time on it, but to make a they're retiring people's numbers,
doesn't even look like
statues.
Him.
I don't get it.
If you're going to give Kyle Lowry a statue, you got to give DeMar DeRozan one, and you got to give Kawhi Leonard one. Because if it wasn't for Kawhi Leonard, you wouldn't have that chip, all right? And if it wasn't for DeMar DeRozan, like, you wouldn't be who you are. Even though he didn't really, like, playoff-wise or, like, accomplishment-wise, like, in the playoffs, didn't do that much, but he was your guy. So, I get it. Kyle Lowry, whatever, point guard.
Killer Kyle Lowry, got 9 points.
That's 3 buckets. Very likable guy, but it's just.
Bro, look at the NBA. What statues are outside NBA arenas right now? Michael Jordan. Don't they have like a Shaq and a Kobe? Dirk Nowitzki. And you got Killer Kyle Lowry. Like, there's no statues outside of NBA teams other than those 3 franchises or those 3 all-time greats, and then you got Kyle Lowry. Like, come on,
They should have made Kawhi, like, ducking down when he made that shot that
right?
hit
At
every
least in the
single
background.
that one.
At least in the background
that's
of
the
that.
statue you make, bro.
Yeah.
I saw in one of the replies or something. It's like, bro, he looks like Julius Caesar. I'm like, come on.
I see that one too. That's funny. So
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, good
NBA,
for him. He's helped
yeah.
us out a lot with on the Heat, but I don't know if it's statue worthy, bro.
No, it's not. It's not. I'm not being biased.
And that's no diss to Kyle Lowry. That's
no diss,
disrespect
no nothing.
or
It's
nothing.
it's just a no. It's a no. It's a no. Plain and simple. So Miami Heat right now are 2 games up, 51 wins in the East. They dipped a little bit last time we recorded.
We
but now
bike. We
bike.
bike.
Miami,
Cocky Heat
Boston,
fan, all caps during the playoffs, baby.
I hate you
That's
guys.
what we do, man. Give me the
Brooklyn
Nets, bro. Give me
yeah,
Brooklyn
Nets
in
are
the
the
first
10
round.
seed. Jesus
Let's
Christ.
go.
Yeah, I'm not talking shit at all. I'm not at liberty
It don't
to
matter who we play. Heat in 6,
confident.
motherfucker.
Lakers, fade the Lakers. They stank. We won't talk
so
about them
bad.
too much because they're not worth talking about. They got, they're outside of the play-in. That's how you know you're bad, right? If you're not in the play-in, like, damn, you really had a bad season. Lakers are out of it. But also the other sport topic, and we'll kind of wrap up with a couple announcements or shout-outs, but the new overtime rule we didn't get to talk about. NFL. That's the one
Playoffs
thing
only.
when we talk, playoffs only. But when we talked to Steve, one of the things I brought up was that MLB, they have a rule, they think about it, they have something that they want to change. It just takes 5-10 years. I respect the NFL because when they see and hear their fans and they see a rule that's not working or needs adjustment, the next fucking year, next season, they adjust it. Or maybe 2 seasons from now if it builds up over time. But they're a league that gets it compared to the MLB. So do you like the NFL new overtime rule for the playoffs? Talk about it.
Before I get into it, I just want to say we talked about this right after that Bills and Chiefs game, and I said it.
That was great.
Give it to me. Just playoffs only. You can go back and watch the tape. It's on there. I love it because
that was like episode 7 or something.
Playoffs only is the best part about it because no one wants to see that in the regular season. Regular season, your offense scores, that's it. Your defense has a job. They got to stop them. Cool. But now when you get in the playoffs, you got the best teams. So you want to see Josh Allen get a chance because, I mean, why not? So I'm all for it. It's just going to there's some stipulations, though. Like if it's a safety or something like that, then that's it off rip. So I'm cool with it. Give both teams a chance and just duke it out because those are the 2 best teams. Like now you're gonna get to see who's a really better team because Chiefs Bills that was a toss up. You're muted, by the way.
No, you're good. I would mute you on purpose.
Oh, gotcha. That was a toss up. That game, like that game was one of the best games we've ever seen. And if Josh Allen would have got a chance, who knows what could have happened. So,
yeah, I love it. I love the fact that they're able to see a rule, see something that happens, hear the fans, and just go, you know what? Let's consider it. Not let's change it immediately. Let's consider it. And then they had a talk. They talked amongst the owners and probably the players and coaches and GMs and all that. And we're like, all right, this rule makes sense to change. And I love that they did it for the playoffs because you can't have that rule in the regular season because a lot of games go into overtime. You're playing and it's like you went from 16 games to 17. Now you probably will go. I think they're talking about in the next couple of years, they might go to 18 games.
Yeah.
And then you're going to throw in these other rules about overtime. So like keep that to the playoffs only. Like, you don't need to play more reps in the regular season that you're already planning to do. So I think they know that. So I'm glad that they changed that. Whether it's for the better or not, we'll see. Hey,
we'll find out.
At least they're a proactive league instead of reactive, where it's like, oh wait, our bottom line is dipping. Let's start changing rules. But by that time, people don't like the game anymore. So I thought when I seen that and the NBA, the way they do the play-in, they tested some things. It's like, man, they NBA
listen to their fans.
They get it. They get it.
Because that was a huge topic. Like everyone on social media, right after the game, everyone on social media was talking about like, oh, what would have happened if Josh Allen got another chance? And of course, there's people debating like, oh, defense has to do their job. No, because you got the best players. You got Patrick Mahomes, throwing at Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Like, there's only so much the defense can do. Gabriel Davis scored like 4 TDs in like 7 minutes of game time.
Yeah.
So it's like, bro, we don't know what could have happened. And it's, bro, like it's a good rule. I'm hype. There's definitely going to be OT games and, you know, in the playoffs. And if you get OT in the Super Bowl, bro, come on, dog. Come on,
right?
Dog. Come on.
There's a reason where somebody
they
like
know
me
what
that's
they're doing, dude.
somebody like me that's so obsessed with sports overall, like doesn't matter if it's golf, baseball, football. There's a reason why somebody like me has elevated my football NFL content to another level. Podcasts, shows, all this thing. Somebody like me that's elevating, and that's a sign. You obviously you want new fans, but if you get somebody like me that consumes all sports into it even more, you know you're doing something right. So I'm excited about the NFL season. I'll continue to say it. Hopefully, now that we get our second crack at the NFL season, our full, we'll get some guests on, maybe do similar to Steve. I'm sure he knows plenty about football as well. So we'll have some fun with that. But let's wrap this up. Long episode. We had Steve on it's funny. We planned for 30, 45 minutes. We got an hour out of him. And I love that he wanted to be a part of it for an hour. He didn't try to slow down. He didn't try to like sugar. He went right into whatever he was talking about. And that's what the lab's about. Once we hit record, there's no limit on what we talk about. But let's see. WrestleMania was dope. I won't go into that this episode. Maybe
Logan
next
Paul
episode.
On that shit.
Logan Paul, impressive. Pat McAfee did his thing. Stone Cold back-to-back nights. I mean, I think in about 20, 30 minutes of him chugging beers, I know a lot of it goes on his chest. A lot of it gets fizzed up. That man, in 2 nights of a combined 20 minutes, he chugged at least 30 beers. I'm telling you, two-handed. I'm going to rewatch that this week. Hopefully I find some time on the plane in Jamaica. I'll just rewatch WrestleMania just because, when you're drinking, having a good time, you're not paying attention to those cool times. So WrestleMania was awesome. 2 nights. Dallas did it big, exceeded my expectations. Roman Reigns, undisputed, double champion. Let's fucking go.
That's you.
That's
you,
me.
Baby.
Yeah, I wrote that. I wrote that post about myself at like 12:30 at night when the edible hit, and I was a little faded off tequila. I was like, whatever. Grammys happened. Nobody cares.
No one cares about that shit.
Yeah, that's basically all I got. Yeah. Oh, and Game of Thrones, August 21st. We'll probably talk about it. You're into Game of Thrones? You've been into the whole series?
Yeah.
You watched everything?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. That show has no replay value for me because of the 8th season. I can't watch it over.
Don't do that.
I can't watch it again, bro. Like I just can't. I can't, dog. I can't watch it again. Nope. I've seen so many shows over and over again, over. Game of Thrones, I can't do it.
It's so funny because we're gonna have to. So we have a thing whenever we text each other, and we did this back in the utility players where we do save it for the pod, SIFTP. When we're talking and we're vibing, we're going back and forth. It's like, all right, save it for the pod because this is good content. This is good conversation. Let's save it for that. This is something we need to save because in August when it goes on, I have a lot to say about it. I'm the complete opposite side of you, and I know you're hearing a lot of people say you guys need to disagree more, this and that. Yeah. This is something that I'll gladly have a good conversation. So we'll save that for August when that gets popping. But any shout outs, anything that you got? Yeah, anything you got going on?
Shout out Billionaires Row, BR Boys, right above us. That's how bottle right there. We like to do it like that, big. Shout out Steve for being on with us, man. That was great. A lot of baseball stuff, a lot of betting stuff. Definitely took some notes. I know we were jokingly saying it, but I'm serious. Got me hyped up for baseball season. And shout out my boy Charlie Dennis, his first goal the other night. He should have had 2. He should have had 2. He should have had another one the other night too on a header.
I was lit.
That went on. That went in. They need VAR in that league. Give it to me. That boy Charlie doing his thing. I'm hype about it. That one fan was, bro, that pic of him just standing there talking shit to the fans. Bro, let's go. And
yeah, Oakland Roots is now officially in the lab.
They got something brewing in the lab, baby.
Yeah. Whenever they're on, I throw them on. Now that they're ESPN Plus, Throw them
Yep.
on. They might, sometimes they've been getting the second TV love, the left of me, but
Ooh, yeah,
they at least got the third TV, but they've been
Right.
getting the left TV, which is the big TV, the 52-inch. So shout out to Oakland Roots and Charlie for netting that, putting one through the net.
Yep. Let's get it.
Anything
baby.
else?
No, nothing I can think of.
Oh, Bet the Fort. We didn't do any picks this episode. Obviously, keep that going. Maybe throw some on the right before tip off. We're recording. We're about to end this at 8:55. Tip offs at 9:20. Throw some posts.
Yep.
You know what you got? Maybe
I'll
some
get
prop
on
picks. Steve gave you some good prop picks. Maybe
I like that pick.
Tag him.
prop pick.
Maybe. Yeah, about the threes and all that. So throw some stuff on the story. But other than that, yeah. So I'll be in Jamaica this weekend. I'll be back Monday afternoon. So we'll record Monday night as regularly scheduled. Episode 18, which is my favorite number.
Hey.
I think that's about it. Yeah, it was a good episode. Good guest. Hopefully, like I said, we'll continue to have more guests coming. We do have a lot in the works. We're just trying to plan it out and space it. If you've listened to this episode if you've gotten to this point that you're listening, check the timelines. If you're not into baseball, not into betting, hopefully we talked about a little bit after YouTube. Subscribe. Make sure I'm making sure everybody that I know, I check their
Link in
phone.
bio.
A few of you.
Oh, we got stickers. Stickers will be out soon.
They'll be at my house this weekend. So when I come back from Jamaica,
doorstep soon. Yep.
Be at a local bar's bathroom stall near you.
Yeah.
Scan it.
We're gonna flood the wharf with Enter the Lab stickers.
Why not? Hey, that's how we do it. Yeah, I'm showing people. By the way, this thing works too. This little guy as a background. Just flash people here. Oh,
just
podcast,
flash people.
Like boom, scan that, follow, and then I take their phone. I'm like, YouTube, subscribe, like.
Subscribe.
A couple of you guys that are our friends. I'd be looking at your phone. I'm like, yeah, let me see your phone. Let me see your YouTube. Oh, you're not subscribed. Why? We've been existing for 2 years. We're on year 2 already. But whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes people are lazy.
Don't be a fan later.
Don't be a fan later.
Don't be a fan later.
So that's it. Episode 17. Wrapping it up. Elvis Escobar, Fort Sama. Listen to us, watch us, subscribe, follow us, all that good stuff. Shout out BR as per usual, unofficially. We got to work on the deal soon. Things are adding up. Things that we're doing are becoming.
I got ring lights,
expensive.
bro. Like,
you know what I mean?
Come on, dog.
Things are becoming too expensive. We gotta start allocating our expenses somewhere else. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. That's it. Peace.